Here are some intriguing facts and historical contexts about Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton. 1. Inspiration from real life. Wharton was inspired to write Ethan Frome after spending time in Lenox, Massachusetts, where she witnessed the harsh winters and isolation of rural New England. She reportedly learned about a local accident involving a sled and an elm tree, which became the basis for the novel's climactic scene. 2. Departure from Wharton's usual style. Unlike many of Wharton's other works, which focus on the upper classes and the social intricacies of New York City, Ethan Frome explores poverty, rural life, and the struggles of ordinary people. This shift allowed Wharton to examine the effects of isolation and economic hardship, themes less common in her broader body of work. 3. Starkfield as a symbol. The fictional town of Starkfield reflects the novel's themes of desolation and entrapment. The town's name itself evokes bleakness and sterility, reinforcing the emotional and physical barrenness experienced by the characters. 4. The frame narrative technique. Wharton employs a frame narrative, where an unnamed narrator recounts Ethan's story after encountering him in Starkfield. This structure creates a sense of distance and mystery around Ethan's tragic past, gradually revealed through the narrator's observations and Ethan's own recollections. 5. Exploration of naturalism. The novel is often classified as an example of naturalism, a literary movement that emphasizes the power of environment, heredity, and social conditions over human will. In Ethan Frome, the harsh winter landscape mirrors the internal struggles of the characters, suggesting that their fates are shaped as much by external forces as by personal choices. 6. Symbolism of the pickle dish. The red pickle dish, a gift from Zena's wedding, symbolizes Ethan and Zena's fragile marriage. When Maddie accidentally breaks the dish, it foreshadows the irreversible damage to their relationship and the unraveling of their domestic lives. 7. Role of women and gender dynamics. The contrasting portrayals of Zena and Maddie highlight the limited roles available to women during the early 20th century. Zena's hypochondria and Maddie's helplessness after the accident illustrate how women were often confined to roles of caretakers or dependents, with little autonomy. 8. Critical reception and misinterpretation. Ethan Frome initially puzzled some critics, who were unaccustomed to Wharton's somber portrayal of rural life. Over time, the novel has been recognized as a masterful exploration of human suffering and endurance, with its stark realism standing out among Wharton's works. 9. Influence of Greek tragedy. Wharton drew inspiration from classical Greek tragedy. Ethan's moral and emotional conflict mirrors the tragic structure of a hero who is bound by fate, leading to inevitable suffering. 10. Psychological depth. The novel's exploration of repression, forbidden desire, and guilt adds psychological complexity to its characters. Ethan's internal struggle reflects Wharton's interest in the interplay between desire and duty, which permeates much of her fiction. 11. Commentary on rural isolation. Ethan Frome serves as a social commentary on the isolation and economic difficulties of rural communities in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The novel highlights the emotional toll of harsh environments and limited opportunities, which can lead to profound loneliness and despair. 12. Written during a difficult time in Wharton's life. Wharton wrote Ethan Frome during a period of personal turmoil. Her marriage to Edward Wharton was unraveling due to his mental health issues and infidelity. This personal experience of emotional strain and entrapment likely influenced the novel's themes of marital dissatisfaction and unfulfilled longing. 13. Reflection of New England regionalism. The novel aligns with the tradition of New England regionalism, a literary movement that sought to capture the distinct characteristics, dialects, and landscapes of the region. Wharton's vivid portrayal of Starkfield's winter mirrors the harsh realities of life in rural New England at the turn of the 20th century. 14. Critique of social and economic constraints. Wharton uses the characters' economic struggles to highlight the limitations imposed by class and financial hardship. Ethan's desire to leave Starkfield is thwarted not just by personal obligations but by poverty and lack of opportunity, reflecting the rigid social structures of rural America. 15. Inspired by Wharton's interest in architecture. Wharton was deeply interested in architecture and design. The stark descriptions of Ethan's rundown farmhouse symbolized the decay and stagnation in his life. Wharton often used physical spaces to reflect the psychological state of her characters, a technique evident throughout the novel. 16. Influence of realist authors. Ethan Frome shows the influence of realist writers like Thomas Hardy and Gustave Flaubert. Wharton admired Hardy's portrayal of tragic rural life and Flaubert's Madame Bovary, which similarly explores themes of adultery, isolation, and the crushing weight of societal expectations. 17. Exploration of disability and caregiving. After the sledding accident, Maddie becomes disabled, and the roles of Zena and Maddie reverse. Zena becomes the caretaker while Maddie, once vibrant, becomes dependent. This inversion of roles reflects Wharton's interest in the dynamics of illness, caregiving, and the burdens placed on women. 18. Sledding as a symbol of escape and doom. Sledding, a recurring motif, represents both the fleeting joy Ethan and Maddie experience and the danger of their passion. The sled ride symbolizes their attempt to escape the constraints of their lives, but ultimately leads to their physical and emotional downfall. 19. Wharton's exploration of silence and communication. Throughout the novel, characters struggle to communicate their feelings. Silence often dominates Ethan and Maddie's interactions, reflecting their inability to express desires openly. This theme highlights the repression and isolation that shaped their relationship. 20. Critical comparison to the Scarlet Letter. Scholars often compare Ethan Frome to Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. Both novels explore themes of forbidden love, societal judgment, and the consequences of passion within rigid moral frameworks. Wharton's depiction of Stockfield mirrors Hawthorne's portrayal of Puritan New England. 21. Starkfield's endless winter as a metaphor. The harsh, unrelenting winter of Starkfield is a powerful metaphor for Ethan's life. Just as winter traps the townspeople, Ethan feels perpetually trapped by his obligations, mirroring the cyclical nature of suffering and endurance. 22. Reception and popularity in schools. Ethan Frome has become a staple in American high school curricula due to its concise length, rich symbolism, and exploration of universal themes like duty, desire, and regret. Its accessible yet layered narrative makes it a frequent choice for literary analysis. 23. Influence of Wharton's travels. Wharton's extensive travels in Europe and her immersion in different cultures influenced her depiction of rural isolation in Ethan Frome. The novel contrasts the cosmopolitan world she experienced abroad with the confining small-town life in New England. 24. Subversion of the American dream. Ethan's failed aspirations and inability to leave Starkfield subvert the traditional notion of the American dream. Instead of achieving success or happiness through hard work, Ethan's life is characterized by missed opportunities and inevitable decline. 25. Cinematic adaptations. Ethan Frome has been adapted for film and television, including the 1993 film starring Liam Neeson and Patricia Arquette. The visual adaptations emphasize the stark beauty of the New England landscape and the emotional intensity of the novel. Thanks for listening and watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Like this video. It helps more people find these classic stories. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think.